Okay, so now we're going to talk about surface area of a cone. So we have two formulas, lateral area of a cone, which is pi RL, and surface area, which is pi r squared plus pi RL. R is the radius, which goes from the center of the circle to the edge of the circle, and then L is the slant height, again going along the edge of that cone. So if we look at number 7, our radius is 7, and our slant height is 11.4. So those are the only two things we need. So we're going to have R equals 7 and L is 11.4. And then I'm just going to plug those into my formula. The surface area is equal to pi times 7 squared plus pi times 7 times 11.4. Okay, and then I can just type this into my calculator, and when I do, I get 404.64 meters squared. Okay, on number 8, first thing I need to do is find my radius. To find my radius, I'm going to take this diameter and I'm going to cut it in half. So 27 divided by 2, which is going to, 13.5. And then my lateral height is 32.9. Okay, so filling in my formula, my surface area is pi times 13.5 squared plus pi times 13.5 times 32.9. Alright, and when I type that in, I get 1,967.89 millimeters squared. Alright, now on number 9. Number 9 is a little bit different because we need to find our radius first. So we need to find our radius. But we can look at this like it's a right triangle because it is. So our radius, we're looking for a side. We already have the hypotenuse, so we're going to subtract. I'm going to do 27.3 squared minus 25.2 squared. And I am square rooting all of that. Okay, so what I find is that my radius, it rounds to 10.5. Okay, and then my lateral height is at 27. So I'm going to say my surface area is pi times 10.5 squared plus pi times 10.5 times 27.3. Okay, and when I do that, I get 1,246.9 inches squared. Okay, we're going to do a few application problems. So it says a cone has a surface area of 822.78 centimeters squared and a diameter of 18 centimeters. Find the slant height of the cone. Okay, so it gave us diameter. So first we're going to find the radius. To find the radius, we're going to divide this by 2. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. Then I'm going to start filling in my formula. So my surface area is the 822.78. And then I'm going to have pi times 9 squared plus pi times 9 times L. I'm going to put each of these sections in my calculator. Notice I'm not putting them in there together because that L is being multiplied. So they are two separate expressions. So that gives me 822.78 is equal to, when I put pi times 9 squared in my calculator, I get 254.47 plus, and then when I put pi times 9 in my calculator, I get 28.27 L. And then I'm just going to work this backwards. I'm going to subtract that 254.47 from both sides. Okay, and when I do, I get 568.31 is equal to 28.27. And then I'm just going to divide both sides by the 28.27. And when I do that, I get that my lateral height is 20.1, and this would be centimeters. Okay, number 11 says we're going to find the surface area for the figure to the left. All right, so I'm going to start with the cone. I'm going to start with this cone. Now, surface area, if you notice, where these two meet is at this base, that's a circle. So I don't need that circle for either of my surface areas. So I'm going to start with this cone. The only thing that I need on the cone is the lateral surface area. So for the cone, you can label it if you want. For the cone, I only need the lateral surface area because I do not need that circle where the two are connected. I just need this part. Okay, so the lateral area is that the pi RL that we're using right there. Okay, so we're going to do pi. My diameter is 34, so to find my radius, I'm going to do 34 divided by 2, which is 17. So lateral is pi times 17 times, I put those in the wrong spot, but it's okay, pi r, and then my lateral is 20. My radius is 17. Okay, so I'm doing pi times 17 times 20. And that's going to be 1068.14. Okay, and then I'm going to look at this cylinder. Okay, so this bottom part right here, the cylinder that I'm looking at. So if you remember, our formula for a cylinder is 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r l, or IRH, sorry. Okay, this part right here is the lateral, which we do need, and then this part right here is the two bases. That's why there's a 2 out front, because there's one for each base. Now when I'm looking at this cylinder right here, I only need one of the bases. So I'm going to change this formula just a little bit. Our surface area for this, instead of being 2 pi r squared, is just going to be pi r squared, because I only need one base. I only need the bottom base. I don't need the top one. And then plus 2 pi RH. Okay, so this is going to be pi times 17 squared plus 2 pi times 17 times 12. Which is 2189.69. And then what I'm going to do to finish this problem is I'm going to add these two numbers together. Okay, and when I add them together, I get 3257.83. Okay, there's a couple of different ways you could go about it. You could find the total surface area of both and then take off a circle from each one. This is what I found to be the easiest. So, alright, last one. The roof of a shed is a square-based pyramid. Okay. So it's a square pyramid, so think about like 1, 2, and 3 on the front of this paper. If the base has a side length of 10 and the slant height of the roof is 9.4, find the area of the roof. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, pyramid. Okay. It says the sides are 10 and then the slant height is 9.4. Okay, not the best drawing, but it'll work. So it just wants the area of the roof. We will not need the base for this. We just need the lateral. So we're going to be doing lateral again, which if you look on the front, the lateral for a pyramid is 1/2 LP. So it tells us that our slant height, which is L, is the 9.4. And then our perimeter is going to be, it's a square, so that's going to be 4 times 10, which is 40. So we're going to do 1/2 times 9.4 times 40. And when we do that, we get 188 feet squared. And that's it. So that finishes up our cones and our pyramids. So I hope you'll have a great rest of your day, and I hope you have a great week.